What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here, taking a look at Stokastic's NFL DFS lineup generator for Thursday Night Football's game between the Giants and the Niners. While you're coming in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, hit the notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. We have a new offer on the lineup generator. It was already just $14.95 per week, but you can get it for $9.99 for your first week using the link in the description of this video. I think it's a fantastic tool. This tool will only give you plus EV lineups. So we've already run all of these lineups through the Stokastic Sims. Anything that was negative EV over the long term, we're talking about tens of thousands of plays. Anything that was negative EV was thrown out. All of these lineups have been found to be plus EV in the Stokastic Sims already. Fantastic tool. And again, you can get it for just $9.99 for your first week if you use the link in the description of this video. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitter, it'll be in my tweet. Check it out if you haven't already done so. Going to start here by looking at some DraftKings showdown lineups. We'll follow that up with some FanDuel afterwards. But first, for DraftKings, I'm going to do all lineups. We're going to see a mix of chalky, balance, and contrarian lineups. And I'm not going to specify a game script. I'm just going to use the standard projections here and see what comes out when I use our standard projections. Of course, you can choose different game scripts in this tool if you wanted to. If you think it's going to be a blow up game with lots of fireworks, you think both teams going 6+ points over their total, you choose this top option, but you can choose whatever game script you want. Very cool. I'm just going to use, for the purpose of this video, standard projections. All right. So from a projection standpoint, I mean, pretty much, I think any lineup you're going to get here is going to project well enough, close enough to the optimal that for a showdown slate, I think it is viable. From a correlation standpoint, all right, so our quarterbacks, we only have one quarterback in this lineup. That is Brock Purdy. That's generally what I'm concerned about is, are the quarterbacks correlated enough in the lineups? From a correlation standpoint, we have Brock Purdy in the flex. He is paired with Christian McCaffrey. So I'm always going to want Brock Purdy paired with at least one pass catcher. He is not much of a running quarterback so far in his NFL career. I think he's rushing for like 5 or 6 yards per game. Small sample size, only 7 games. So maybe the rushing is coming in. He does have a couple rushing touchdowns already in his career, but not much of a rusher. He's not like Daniel Jones out there. So I always want to pair Brock Purdy with at least one pass catcher. Christian McCaffrey certainly qualifies as a pass catcher, even though he's not usually what I'm talking about. Primary pass catchers, I'm talking about wide receivers, tight ends. But Christian McCaffrey is so involved in the passing game that he definitely qualifies here. So that's really the only major correlation that I worry about on these showdown slates. Yes, we have the 49ers defense against a couple of pass catching options for the Giants. That doesn't concern me. Very possible for the defense to score a pick six, but then the Giants still to be passing a lot, both Waller and Slayton to rack up a bunch of receptions and possibly even touchdowns. Not a concern there. So I have no issue from that standpoint. And then from a uniqueness standpoint, we've got fairly low owned captain Darren Waller, 5.8%, but we don't really have any other super low owned players in this lineup, and it only leaves 700 on the table. So I don't think that I would play this lineup, even though I know it's been found to be plus EV. But for me, the way I play, when I win first, I want to win a lot of money. I think that this lineup is going to be duped enough times that I probably would not want to play this one. Again, that's a matter of personal preference, though. All right, I'm going to take a look at the next lineup we have here. Now, this one I can see right away uses the full salary cap, so that's going to be a concern. But from a projection standpoint, projects similarly to the last one. We've got Purdy paired with McCaffrey and George Kittle. We don't have Daniel Jones to worry about this. So no correlation issues for me, no projection issues. But from a uniqueness standpoint, this one is not going to be unique enough for me. So I'm going to go until I find 3 lineups that I would play. This one using 50,000 salary, not using any extremely contrarian plays. It's going to be duped too many times for my liking, so I'm not going to use that lineup. All right, now I'm just going to probably not going to use this one because it's only leaving 300 on the table. It does have Charlie Warner in there at 3% ownership, so that is kind of interesting. Projects well enough, so that's good. We do have Daniel Jones paired with Paris Campbell, so really the only concern I have with this one is uniqueness. I don't think this one is going to be unique enough for me to play. Now we're talking, leaving a lot of salary on the table with this one. Projects 8 points worse than most of the lineups we've looked at. So from a projection standpoint, it's not ideal, but it's close enough for me. From a correlation standpoint, we don't have any quarterbacks to worry about in this lineup. And from a uniqueness standpoint, we're leaving over 5,000 on the table. This one is going to be plenty unique, even though we don't have any super low owned players here. Like no individual player is getting very little ownership, but leaving this much salary on the table, that's probably the biggest factor in getting unique. So I would probably be okay with playing this lineup. We've got the Double kicker in this lineup. We've got double defense. It is kind of ugly playing. You're playing for an ugly game here. But then we do have the stars of each team, McCaffrey and Christian Waller, in there with the kickers and the defenses. This is my kind of lineup. This is a kind of lineup that I probably would play on this slate, because if it does win first place, this lineup is going to win all the money. So there's one. This one, not leaving enough salary for my interest. Does have Jake Moody at captain, but I've found when you have kickers or defenses at captain and you use all the salary, everybody who plays the kicker or defensive captain wants to pay up for the studs. That's why they have the kicker or defensive captain. It's going to be mega duped. It projects really well, but I'm not playing this lineup because it's going to be too duped. I suppose I should be discarding the ones I'm not going to play. Anyway, this one, again, leaving 600 on the table. No correlation concerns, no projection concerns, not playing it though. All right, now we've got Jake Moody. So we got the kicker at captain once again. He's going to be low owned. We have Daniel Jones paired with Darius Slayton and Matt Breida. Not much of a pass catcher, but we have at least Daniel Jones with Darius Slayton and no Brock Purdy in this lineup. Leaves enough salary on the table that in this lineup, I think having the kicker at captain is viable. I think when this lineup wins, it's winning all of the money. So I like this lineup. So there's two lineups that we found that I would play. And then finally, we have, all right, so this one looks like a good one off the bat in terms of salary. We don't have any quarterbacks in this lineup, so that is notable. We are close enough to the peak projection here at a projection nearly 80. We are not playing any really off-the-wall plays here. Our lowest owned player in this lineup is Eli Mitchell at 16% projected ownership. However, we're leaving 2,400 on the table. I don't think this is going to be a mega duped lineup, so I do like this one. All right, so that is a third lineup that I found that I like. And then I'm just going to go through and see what our exposures look like. Brock Purdy, our highest exposed player, 44%. Christian McCaffrey up there as well. 49ers defense. Interesting to see how much 49ers defense we get considering the 5.8 thousand salary on the defense. They look great. Great defense. We just saw what the Cowboys did to this Giants team in week 1. We got George Kittle, 41%. Deebo Samuel, 38%. So our 5 highest exposed players, all from the Niners. Darius Slayton, our highest exposed Giants player, followed by Paris Campbell and Daniel Jones. This looks like nothing too shocking here. A little bit surprised by Christian McCaffrey's 28% exposure in the captain spot, considering he's 19.8K there. But, not too shocking. We're getting Christian McCaffrey in a majority of our lineups here. All right, let's take a look at FanDuel as well. All right, I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to try just doing contrarian lineups right away. And I'm going to use standard projections again. All right, so this one, 59.5, not going to play it. I can see it right away, using too much salary. Too much salary. Too much salary. Too much salary. I want to leave, okay, at least 1,500 on the table, I think, is where I start on FanDuel. All right, so from a projection standpoint, projects for 59. That looks fine to me. Daniel Jones paired with Paris Campbell. We got Ayuk, Deebo, and Kittle. Kind of interesting to see the 3 pass catchers for the Niners with no Brock Purdy. I didn't look at Purdy's salary to see if he would fit in this one. But I think that I'm okay with it. Like, these guys can pick up. It's only half point per reception, so not quite the same as DraftKings, but you're still getting some points per reception. They're outscoring Purdy on every passing play, so I don't mind having the 3 alpha receivers without Purdy. Now, keep in mind, I didn't say this earlier, Brandon Ayuk is questionable tonight. I think that he is very questionable. I'm actually expecting, I think that it's like 55-60% chance that he does sit tonight, but we're going to know an hour and a half before the game starts when inactives come out. So we'll know, but keep an eye on Brandon Ayuk's status for tonight. But if he is active, this is a lineup that I would certainly be willing to play. Not playing that one. All right, this one's leaving 1,500 again. We've got no quarterbacks once again. We got McCaffrey with Deebo and Juwan Jennings. This one will look better if Ayuk is not playing tonight. Then we got Slayton and Waller from the Giants. Looks like a fine lineup. I would play that one. Here we're leaving a lot of salary on the table. I don't like it though. It might be viable. So Daniel Jones did rush for 708 yards last year. He was 5th in the NFL, but like there was a huge jump between Daniel Jones and the 6th best rushing quarterback last year. He was within like 56 yards of Lamar Jackson. There were 4 of the 5 top quarterbacks were all within 56 yards of each other. I think Justin Fields was the only quarterback who kind of broke out and had a lot more yards than the rest. But Daniel Jones was an elite rusher, so he is viable, particularly on FanDuel where it is only half point per reception. He is viable to run out there naked. If he's in the MVP spot, typically I would prefer to have him with the pass catcher, but I think that this one actually is viable. On FanDuel, having Daniel Jones naked in the MVP spot, given his rushing upside, I think that it is certainly viable. I typically would prefer to have him if he's going to be naked in the flex, but I think that this one could work out here. We got the defense and the kicker for the Niners, and then Eli Mitchell and Deebo Samuel clearly playing for a low-scoring game here. If we're going to have naked dimes, no Purdy, and playing both kicker and defense for the Niners here. All right, so there's one that I like. So now I found two that I would play. Actually, that was the third one. So never mind. We've gone through all three. Let's see. I've already discarded a handful, but let's see what happens what kind of exposures we get from the ones that I saved. We got McCaffrey at 68%, Waller 44%. So huge drop off from MVP McCaffrey is our highest exposed player down to Waller in the flex, and then MVP Ayuk. Pretty interesting to see MVP Ayuk getting that much exposure as well. All right, that is going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so, and check out the lineup generator if you haven't already done so. It's going to update as we get more information. Once Ayuk is ruled in, or if Ayuk is ruled out, he'll be pulled out. Our projections will update, and these lineups will look a little bit different. So check it out if you haven't already done so. It's just $99 for your first week if you use the link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck tonight.